Put this candle in an all-white gallery space, it looks like a piece of art. If I put it on like in a garage, it looks like a piece of trash. You know, like someone would throw it away. It's dented. And I think I often use this analogy in design. I could either design the candle and spend a lot of time like telling you about the candle, or I could just design the room that it sits in.
Stick with me. So I have been dealt a lot of research lately on cat psychology, how to facilitate a good relationship with a cat, how to make them feel comfortable and safe around you, how to not force yourself on a cat. And in this past week, I've been thinking about the relationship between artists and their ideas. And naturally, with all of this cat research circulating my brain, I drew comparisons, or I guess similarities, between the two topics. Number one, you let ideas come to you, just like you would let cats come to you. You don't force yourself to come up with ideas, because that never works. It historically never works. And historically with cats, if you force yourself into a cat space, usually doesn't end well either. Number two, cats respond best when you create the space for them to feel safe, this space for them to trust you. It doesn't just happen. And same with ideas. When you think about how to build a good relationship with a cat, it's all about creating this space, being the safe space, not trying to force yourself into their space. And with ideas, there's a lot of talk about ideas being not from inside us, but from the ether. And it's true, we draw inspiration from everything around us. Every idea comes from somewhere. Create the space, open the door, and welcome it in. When we try to force, we're essentially closing the door, making the gap of the door maybe this big. So maybe you still will get a couple of ideas, but it's not going to be that energy of let's have everything flood in, welcome in, let's pick some ideas from the ether. There's another thing that researchers studied, and it was get on the right level. So we're giants compared to cats, right? Cats are naturally intimidated by us because we could step on them. We're so much bigger than them, so naturally we're unpredictable. Our movements, if they're really fast, if they're really erratic, it can make them feel really unsafe and like they can't relax into a space. Cat researchers or cat behaviorists have said that it's really important to, at least once a day, get onto your cat's level, going into their world for a second and letting them relax, because you're making yourself as small as possible so that little tiny baby animal can feel like, okay, they're more my size, still massive, but my size, so I can relax a little bit. I can just chill out. I can trust this creature, this massive mammoth other cat that feeds me. So in the same way, when we think of that creatively, it's getting on the level, getting on the frequency of creativity.
I often use this analogy in design. I could either design the candle and spend a lot of time like telling you about the candle, or I could just design the room that it sits in.
That is exactly what I've been thinking about lately, of creating the space, being the space, not being the one idea. When you box yourself into one idea, one piece of art, one object, one identity, you are shrinking yourself down so much. If you are the space, you are the whole art gallery, you're the whole environment, then anything can flourish inside. You can plant any seeds, you can lay out your garden however you want to, and let it flourish, let it be seasonal, and let it be whatever you want it to be. You can niche yourself down to a certain point where it makes sense to you, to other people. Sometimes it doesn't really have to make sense to other people, as long as it makes sense to you. There will be someone out there that understands. There's that many people in the world. Someone is going to understand you and what you're trying to communicate. It doesn't have to be for everyone. It shouldn't be for everyone. I think if it is for everyone, you're probably not taking enough risks. And that's what it is, getting onto that level. And when you create the space that you want to create, you'll notice that the ideas that come to you are a lot more better suited. Truly, the more I learn about cat behavior, the more it makes me think about the relationship artists have between ideas and their own creative world. And I think it's really cool. So I invite you to check out the Substack on Lover Archives. It's got a few little fun things in there, audio, that kind of thing, check it out. Subscribe if you want to. It's free. I'll talk to you soon.